folks, Darnell Mac here. See, I'm working on a LeMoyne star. So I'm going to show you how to do these points right here. There's a trick that I use to get those points nicely lined up. It's real easy to do once you kind of learn the technique on it. So I'm going to sew these two diamonds together, and then I'm going to sew these two diamonds, sets of diamonds together, and then I'm going to do a seam across. So I'm going to go back and sew these two together. Let me show you how I do that. So the seams are pressed in the same direction so that when I go to connect them, they kind of nest right here because the seam allowances go in the opposite direction. Pincushion. So I'm going to take a pin and put it right where these 2 points come together. So when you're stamping, where that diamond comes together, so you can see the mark here and the point of the diamond on this side. So I'm going to pin it there, and then I'm going to use my needle and thread on this side to begin here. All right, and they match up on both sides. You can see my needle through there on that point of the diamond to this side. So I'm using red thread so you can kind of see what that is. There's my first stitch and my back stitch. Now I'm just going to sew on that line. Until I get real close to my needle, because that's my end point. Smooth out that gather. Now I'm going to go right to that straight pin. There's my first back stitch, my second back stitch. I'm going to pull it tight, and just because this point I want it to be nice and tight, I do a third right here on a LeMoyne star just so that it's not going to move. Snip that thread. Now I'll press these to one side. I don't use an iron, I just use this little wooden iron here. They come in different kinds. But there's that one set. Now I'm going to do the same on the other. I like to finish where my points match up. Now I've put dots here because you can't see the lines on this one on the camera. So I used a pencil to make it a little darker. Now I go back to here and my seam allowances are nesting. I'm going to flip that one to that side. I'm going to find that point on this side and then flip it over, and you can see I've caught it on the other side. Put my pin in. Now I'm going to start stitching here. Oops, went through. All right, there's my first back stitch, my second back stitch, and now I'm going to just stitch on that line. So you can see how I'm kind of gathering that on my needle. If you don't feel comfortable with that, just stop along the way somewhere and smooth it out and just keep right on going. It's whatever you're most comfortable with on putting on that needle. Now I go right up to that straight pin. So you can see my needle coming out. My first back stitch. Now I'll just take that straight pin out. And I'll do my second back stitch. And you want to get that as close as you can to where that seam is without going past the seam allowance. So if I don't feel like it's tight enough, I'll just do another back stitch and I cut my thread. So that gives me the other set of diamonds for the LeMoyne star. Press that a bit. And now I'm ready to put these two together.